Attention passionate Cleveland, BRWNS. Latest news, something big is happening in the AFC North and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Cleveland Browns' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave division rivals stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Cleveland Browns fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Cleveland, BRWNS. Let's get to the news. When you think about the Cleveland Browns heading into this new season, the buzz is unmistakable. The team has been quietly building, making strategic moves, and now all eyes are on the quarterback position, the most crucial spot in football, and perhaps the most contentious one in Cleveland for quite some time. The question on everyone's mind, especially after a busy offseason, is who will be under center when the Browns hit the field for Week 1? Well, the answer isn't as straightforward as many hoped it might be. The Browns are in the middle of a quarterback competition that's as intense as it is unpredictable, and that's putting it lightly. SHEDEUR Sanders, the son of legendary coach Deion "Coach Prime" Sanders, is one of the most talked about names in camp right now. The young quarterback has generated a lot of buzz, not just because of his pedigree or his impressive college tape, but because of the narrative surrounding his potential. Everyone's watching him, waiting to see if he can translate that talent into NFL success. But of course, expectations and reality are two different things, and the Cleveland Browns coaching staff isn't rushing to hand him the keys to the franchise just yet. In fact, recent reports suggest that the team's current plan is leaning toward a different path, at least for this season. Right now, the Browns are expected to roll with Joe Flacco as their starting quarterback. Flacco, with his veteran experience and a solid track record in the league, is seen as the safer, more proven option. It's a move that makes sense when you consider the team's immediate needs and the importance of stability at the quarterback position. But make no mistake, all this talk about Flacco being the starter doesn't mean Sanders is out of the picture entirely. No, there's a real possibility that the Browns might adopt a more experimental approach, splitting snaps or even the entire season among 4 quarterbacks: Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, Dillon Gabriel, and SHEDEUR Sanders. It's a bold strategy, but one that Football Insiders suggest could be on the table if the team wants to see who truly rises to the occasion. You see, the Browns aren't just looking for a stopgap or a placeholder. They want someone who can take charge, who can command the huddle, and who can elevate the offense when it counts the most. And that's where the competition heats up. Zach Jackson, a well-respected NFL analyst and writer for The Athletic, recently pointed out that Sanders has a lot to prove during training camp. Not just in terms of arm strength or athletic ability, but in leadership, decision-making under pressure, and mastery of the playbook. Jackson emphasized that Sanders, despite his undeniable talent, will need to show that he can avoid the mistakes that scouts saw on his college tape: turnovers, poor reads, and struggles against pressure. This isn't just about impressing coaches in the short term, it's about laying a foundation for the Browns' future plans. The organization isn't rushing Sanders into the starting role, but they're certainly watching him closely. The competition, as Jackson notes, could go a dozen different ways, and that's not an exaggeration. The Browns have a deep quarterback room, and every player will be fighting tooth and nail to earn that coveted spot, or at least a significant role, in 2024 and beyond. But what makes this situation even more intriguing is the backdrop of recent perceptions about Sanders, both in the media and among fans. Since being drafted, Sanders has faced a wave of criticism and skepticism. Some labeled him as brash or arrogant, and his on-field skills have been dissected and debated. There were questions about whether his college success would translate to the NFL, especially given the high expectations placed on him as Deion Sanders' son. But what's been impressive is how he's responded. Instead of backing down or getting overwhelmed, Sanders has consistently put in the work, letting his play on the field do some of the talking. His attitude and work ethic are often highlighted by those close to him, and he's making sure that his actions speak louder than any criticism. The Browns coaching staff knows that quarterback development isn't just about talent, it's also about confidence and resilience. Sanders, despite the noise around him, appears to be focused on that growth. But the stakes are high. If he performs well during camp, he could shake up the quarterback hierarchy. If Dillon Gabriel, another talented signal caller on the roster, impresses the coaching staff with his numbers and decision-making, Sanders might find himself fighting for a backup role or even a spot on the roster bubble. Conversely, if Sanders outperforms expectations, that could force the Browns to reconsider their plans, possibly favoring youth and upside over experience. This situation isn't unique in NFL history. Young quarterbacks often face this kind of pressure early in their careers. But what makes the Browns' scenario particularly fascinating is how much is riding on the outcome. The team has a clear window to contend, especially with their defense and running game looking solid, but the quarterback position remains the key variable. Many fans are wondering whether the Browns are truly committed to a developmental approach with Sanders, or if they're just keeping him as an insurance policy in case things go sideways. Of course, there's also the broader context of Cleveland's recent history. Despite the ups and downs, the Browns have been building something special over the past few seasons. The addition of talent, like Deshaun Watson's signing and the promising offensive line, has set the stage for a competitive team. But without a reliable quarterback, those hopes can quickly fade. That's why this training camp battle is so critical. It's not just about who starts in September, it's about who will be the face of the franchise down the road. And let's talk about the division for a moment. The AFC North has been fiercely competitive, with teams like the Bengals and Ravens constantly pushing each other to the limit. A shift in quarterback dominance in Cleveland could have ripple effects beyond just the Browns. If Sanders or another young quarterback manages to seize the opportunity and develop into a star, it could tilt the balance of power in the division. Or if the Browns stick with Flacco or Gabriel and struggle to find consistency, the division could continue to be a grind for them. This all leads to one undeniable truth: the Browns are in a pivotal moment. The decisions made in training camp and preseason will shape the team's trajectory for years to come. Whether Sanders rises to the challenge or not, the story of this competition will be one of the most talked-about narratives in the NFL this season. Fans are eager to see if the young quarterback can overcome the odds, prove his doubters wrong, and earn his place in Cleveland's future. The pressure is on, but so is the opportunity. A chance to etch his name into Browns history. Now, it's worth mentioning that the coaching staff isn't just looking at raw talent. They want a quarterback who can command the huddle, who understands the nuances of NFL defenses, and who can handle the pressure of being the guy week after week. SHEDEUR Sanders, in particular, has the physical tools, but the mental aspect of the game is what he'll need to develop fast. That's what camp is all about: refining skills, building confidence, and showing that he can handle the responsibilities that come with the job. The Browns' approach to this competition also reflects their broader philosophy of patience and development. They've historically been cautious when it comes to rushing young players into starring roles, preferring to see consistent progress before making definitive decisions. That's why the possibility of splitting the season among 4 quarterbacks isn't out of the realm of possibility. It's a way for the Browns to evaluate who truly has the makings of a franchise quarterback, without putting too much pressure on any single player too soon. In the end, what's clear is that this training camp will be a defining chapter for the Browns' quarterback room. The team's future hinges on who steps up and seizes the moment. Sanders has the talent, the background, and the motivation, but he's also facing a tough crowd of competitors and skeptics. The coaching staff will be watching every throw, every decision, and every leadership moment to decide who's ready to lead Cleveland into the next era. It's a story of hope, resilience, and high-stakes football, exactly what Browns fans love to see. And now, Cleveland Browns fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this quarterback competition? Do you believe Sanders has what it takes to earn the starting job someday soon? Or do you think the Browns should stick with Flacco or one of the other veterans for now? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Cleveland Browns. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Cleveland Browns news. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Cleveland Browns news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. The truth is, this quarterback battle is just getting started, and it's already shaping up to be one of the most exciting storylines of the NFL season. The Browns are at a crossroads, And how they handle this moment could define their trajectory for years to come. Will Sanders shine and prove he's the future? Or will the veterans hold firm and keep the status quo? Either way, it's a story worth following closely, and Browns fans are right in the thick of it. This season promises drama, surprises, and perhaps most importantly, hope that Cleveland can reclaim its place as a powerhouse with a young, dynamic quarterback leading the charge. So stay tuned, keep supporting your Browns, and let's see how this incredible story unfolds.